Hi folks, and thanks for joining me. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on the Sarabande by Bach from his 6th cello suite. It's a really beautiful, spacious piece, and I've arranged it for the baritone. Having said that, you could play it on any ukulele if you use the tab, best on a low G ukulele rather than the high G. But today I've got the baritone, so we're going to be going through it on the bari. Now, before we start, the Sarabande is the slowest movement in the Baroque suite. It's a very spacious and stately sounding dance. You'll notice the time signature is 3-2, so that means there are 3 minims per bar. It's quite an unusual time signature, I think you'll agree. And we're in the key of D major. So it's really important to get the rhythmic feel. As I said, it was originally a dance, so we want to have that sense of a dance rhythm in it, although it was a stylized dance, meaning it wouldn't have been danced to in this particular instance. And the pulse is 1, 2, 3, and we're counting it in minims, which is a little bit unusual. So for example, 1, 2, 3, and 1 and 2, 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. So you'll notice that my minims are counted as 1 beat, and then the minims or half, what are they? Half notes. And the crotchets or quarter notes, I'm counting them as the ands. It might seem a little bit strange to begin with, but I think once you actually get the feel for that, it will feel more intuitive. Now, to the notes themselves, I'm just looking at that first line. So we start with the D major chord, which I already said we're going to play as a straight chord, so that's... And then we just play 2 notes from that chord on the second beat, which is nice. Very mindful of the melodic note, which is our high note, the F sharp. And then it goes up to the G. All right, and then it kind of plays around. It goes up to the G, and then it comes down to the E, the C sharp, and then back up to D, which of course is our tonic. So I think it's really nice to get that shape in the melody. And it's really important to hold that second beat because it gives you the anticipation. So make sure you don't like race in to this high B that we've got to get up to in a minute. Make sure you really enjoy squeaky, and again really held on those second beats, and we've got that nice little melody, the B, A, F sharp, G. So again, just have this sense of it falling and then coming back up, and it's going to rise again at the end of that bar. And I think that's really important. We have this kind of meandering melodic line, and that's what we really need to hear. The other notes kind of just fill in because they're important, because they give us the harmonic structure, but a real focus on the melody. Okay, let's play this line all together. So I'll count us in. I'll count 3. 1, 2, 3. So you'll notice at the beginning of that bar 4, I do roll the chord there because I feel that by now I've established my pulse, and it's quite nice to get that rolled sound into the chord. Also with the fingering, it's fairly straightforward. I was just going to say that in bar 2, I'm in 2nd position, so I've got the first finger on the C sharp in that chord, and then 2 and and 3 for the D and the F sharp. Then a little bit of a leap up to the B. I'm using my pinky finger, and then I find it quite awkward to get onto that chord, that D. And then the A7 chord. So there's a little bit of work to do in that bar, and then when we come into the bar 4, I've got my pinky on the beat before on the A, and then I'm going to use 1 and 3. All right, now I'm just moving my wrist out so you can really see, I hope, the fingers that I'm using. So that means I can use the second finger on the F sharp. And make sure you keep that first finger on so we get the A ringing on for the bar. It just sounds really nice. Okay, so that's the end of the first line, which we can think of as the first part of the phrase. Now, when I come into bar 5, I change again to second position. So I'm going to use my first finger on the F sharp, ready again for making this shift up the fingerboard. Now, it's quite a tense chord, isn't it? And then we've got the G sharp, suggesting A major, but we're not really there yet. 2, and here's the A. Now in bar 6, that chord is quite a handful, isn't it? Because we've got to go from the A at the 5th fret, and then we're going to come up to get the B with the 4th finger. I've got the first finger on the E, the 3rd finger on the D, and the 2nd finger on the G sharp. Would actually sound quite nice rolled, wouldn't it? And then we've got this like little inner voice going on with the C sharp and the D. And you may notice that I'm using my 3rd finger, which is quite awkward, because I wanted to keep the B ringing on and also the G sharp and the E. And in order to get that shift, I move my wrist and try not to squeak like that. And then back to second position. So I'm using the like hinge barre to get the E and the A. Second finger on the C sharp. Oops, sorry, a bit squeaky. Again, the 3rd finger I favour there, so I can use the 2nd on the C sharp. That's the first section, all right. We should probably put that all together, shouldn't we? Let's do that now. So 1, 2, 3. So you'll notice on that 3rd beat of, what is it, bar 7, instead of just going from the B to the D, I did a hammer on to the C sharp just to add in a little ornament. Okay, so it's quite stylistic to do that, and a little bit of ornamentation in the repeat. Just sounds really nice. Now, I need to have a sip of tea before it goes cold. The second section begins in bar 9, and you'll see we've got this lovely A major chord, and then there's actually 2 A major chords written in, I realised, but I decided to play an A7, so we've got the A major, and then the open G gives us the A7, which I think adds really nice tension into the harmony. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and now position is really important here. This is quite tricky. So I've got a hinge barre. All right, I want to sound the open E string, my top string, but then I need to cover the 2nd fret of the third string and the second string. So I've got this hinge bar, so my finger is literally doing that. So the E string is free under here, and the other two strings are being pushed down under the hingey bit. So where am I? And I've got the third finger on the F sharp. So you can see I didn't need to shift at all to get to the C sharp. But a little bit of work to do there. And you might see I was trying to make a bit of extra effort there to get off the chord when I played the D sharp, which is very startling. And then, okay, so if I play that bar 10, I'll do the upbeat off the chord, and then those that kind of inner voice I'm playing on the third string. Okay, it's very easy to get the fingering 1, 3, 4 on the C, and then the first finger can come back for the E on the fourth string. Okay, quite dramatic. And now I'm going to shift the first finger back for the D sharp, and I'm going to use second finger on the C natural and pinky on the F sharp. And the reason for that is I can then drop onto the A with the third finger and keep those notes ringing on. But big jump and then big stretch back to the D sharp. So quite a lot of movement, isn't there? It's quite, I don't know, it just sounds great. I love it. There's time to move, big stretch. So make sure you give yourself plenty of room. And I must confess, there's a rest I see now in the upper voice, but I hold it down. Because it's just easier. Because we want this A on the 5th fret again. And going into bar 13, got to jump all the way up to the C natural on the 8th fret. So a lot of jumping around coming up now. So bar 13. Trying to keep the notes ringing on a little bit, but not too worried about it, because we want this kind of, it's like a choppy section, isn't it, with the melody. C natural comes back to the B, and there's a kind of moment of resolution. Now I'm coming back to first position. C natural, third finger on the F sharp, pinky finger on the G, which just sets me up really nicely in those bars 15 and 16. So if I pick it up right on bar 13. All right, so here we go. Ready with 1 and 3. Second finger, first finger on the D, stretch. Now back to first position, but use the third finger on the F sharp. I think it just works better. And it's beautiful, isn't it? And now we're going to connect this final note in bar 16 with what happens in 17, and it's this beautiful descending line. Okay, so we really want to milk those B's. Second finger on the G, second finger on the C sharp. Now, I didn't do that very well, but what we basically got is this descending line. Where am I? B, B, G, G, E, E, C sharp, A. You can feel it descending. So you could do something with the dynamic there. If I add, oops, the accompanying notes and stop them with my thumb. So really enjoy these notes. And then also descending. I think I use third finger there, so I play the B as a closed note. I get a bit of vibrato. Notice I'm in second position again. Alright, so I should go back a bit, shouldn't I? So the end of, let's see, 18. What am I doing here? Slightly awkward shape. Do I do that? Yeah. So pinky finger is on the A. Then I've got the second finger on the D and the third finger on the F sharp. Now I use a 3/4 barre for the A and F sharp. Second finger on the D, third finger on the B, which is a closed B, open, third finger on the F sharp. Now I can use second on the G at the end of 20, and then I do jump. Maybe that's a bit ungainly, but it kind of works. I think it worked in the video. It's getting kind of more impactful, isn't it, the music? So instead of just having that single melodic note, we've now got the interval, so we've got two voices going on. Let me think about this G, because I think I might. If I use the third finger there, it's obvious. It's obvious to use the second on the G, isn't it? But I feel like you can give it a bit of a weight, and then there's a decision to make about which notes you want to ring on and which notes you want to stop. So I think that's what happens there. Okay, I didn't really want the G would be ringing on, like, I don't feel like Bach would approve of that. Maybe you think different, let me know. So it kind of works to stop that G in bar 21. Concentrate on that falling melodic line. Use the pinky, and then sense of arrival, isn't there? But he's not done with us yet, because we're still going to go on. Now at the end of 24, it's important to use the second finger, because quite a tricky chord shape in 25. And if you've got the first finger, you can't get to the barre very well, so you can just slide up with the second finger into the D. And here, really important to use 2 and 3. Okay, anything I need to cover in 25. So I think 25, the barre, oh, sorry, 2 and 3. I'm going to use the barre at the end of 25, because it's going to put me in place for what's coming in 26. Release the barre, but make sure you keep hold of that A, so it's going to ring on. All right, you're not going to stop all the sound. I think that's effective. And then you do need to get that for the minor. It's really kind of shocking, isn't it? And then awkward chord, sorry. The D minor. Second finger on the F natural, first finger on the A, third finger on the D, pinky, reaching up. If you hate it, just don't play that. Don't replay the F natural, but give it a go and notice how I'm giving myself plenty of room. I'm always saying this, aren't I? So instead of just trying to hold my hand like straight onto the fingerboard, if you like, and stretch, that's just not going to work. Whereas if I tip my hand, everything's kind of going in the right direction, and I'm not worrying about, you can see, maybe see my fingertips, the lines are really on the side, so I'm not right on the fingertip there. I'm not worried about that. Such a great chord, so much tension, isn't it? And then you have to jump back for the F natural in first position, and I would use 3 and 4 here, and then probably a bar A actually. Hang on, let's do that bar again. So 27. Yeah, the bar A, because 28. Pretty sure I played that E open in the performance video. So a few ways of doing it. Can't actually remember what I did. Definitely played the E open. Might have done that. Okay, let's go back. Sorry about this. 26, 27. Okay, that D minor, D not minor. There it is, D minor. Okay, I'm setting up for what's coming in 28. I'm using my little hinge bar A, but second finger on the C sharp, because lets me play the E open, all right? Third finger on the D, and then the E open. As I play the open E, I release, because I've got a lot of work to do. 3, 2, 1 to get that. And now I'm going to use my second finger on the D. My third finger is going to pretty much stay on the F sharp. For the B minor, pinky finger jumps under the third finger to get the B. This is a funny little bit, isn't it? So I've got this little B minor, then the open E, and then I'm going to try and keep 3 and 4 on, and play the F sharp with 1 and hammer on with 2. So play 29. First finger stays there until the beat 3, and then I need to get everything backed to get the what is it, a D7. All right, so if I do 29, works. Do it again slowly. The hammer, hold, and then the first finger, which is an opportunity to release 3 and 4, and now back. Okay. So it's just a matter of being organised. I think it's not a hard move. It's just awareness, and then open strings. We love an open string, and then 2 and 3. Where am I? You can play the G open or on the 4th string, 5th fret. So I'm in bar 31. Yeah. But now, if you keep the G on there, it's going to get really tangly for your fingers. That's a very technical term. So what I actually do is I use the open G and first finger, and then I can use the third finger on the F sharp. And now going towards the resolution, because if you're not careful, you end up having to do something really weird like this, and that just doesn't feel comfortable. So if I do from the penultimate bar, 2 and 3 down, quite nice, the closed G, but now I'm going to shift, and then I'm going to shift, and you can hammer onto that first D as well. Alright, so I think that works quite nicely. It just needs a little bit of organisation for the fingers, let's say. Should we play through the second part, and I won't talk. Bar 9, 2, 3. Quite nice, I think, to separate the last two. It's very cello-like, isn't it? They don't, because of the bowing technique, playing two notes together, they tend to be slightly broken. So it's nice to do that. Did you see me get my fingers in a knot? Okay, so that happens. But I think it also demonstrates the importance of like figuring out what fingering you want to use, and in this piece it's really important for the fretting hand, for the left hand. The right hand feels kind of more intuitive, and I think you'll figure out, what works for you. It's a beautiful piece, and it's a kind of balance between letting notes ring on or stopping them, which we talked about a little bit in that bar 17. No, not 17, sorry, 21. Do you keep the G ringing on? No, not really. It doesn't sound great. So your ear will guide you through that, I think. But yeah, there's some shifts in the position. So I wouldn't say this is a really difficult piece. But if you don't have a plan for the fingering, then you're going to get your fingers in a knot, as I demonstrated so effectively somewhere. But yeah, it's a really fun piece, and I hope you enjoy it. If you've got any questions, just put them in the comments section. And yeah, that's about it. Just one quick thing. So I've got a new iPhone 16, and of course my old little microphone that used to plug in to the other phone, which was Lightning connection, it doesn't go into this one, which is USB-C. What a steep learning curve that is with all these different connectors. So I've got this Editor's Keys SL600 microphone that I'm trying. I think it's quite good. It actually plugs directly into the phone, but the tricky thing is getting it in a good position without being too much in the picture. So I think you can just see it in the corner. It's this funky, let me try not to fling it on the floor. You can see it there. Kind of a funky orange and black colour. It's got a little blue light, which is quite cute in the middle. Oops. It's got a pop filter, but when I put the pop filter there, that was really looked stupid in the camera. So let me know if you think it's better with the pop filter. Let me know what you think of the sound and the setup. I guess I'll tweak this a bit as I go along. yeah, that's it. So thanks for spending this time with me, and I'm going to drink my cold cup of tea, which is just sitting there, so might go and make a fresh one. And I'll see you in the next video.